Hi everyone. I do hope that you all are doing all right today, and I hope that you've had an amazing day so far. Today we'll be looking at adjectives and adverbs from the grade 7. Do make sure that you log in using the aplusstudent.com and just scroll down here, click on your name, and moving on to language arts. We'll move on to the grade 7. Hi there. How are you doing? I hope that you're all right. So I just open up the lesson, which is the adjectives and the adverbs. So we have two lessons from adjectives and adverbs, of which we would complete both of them today. So first we'll be choosing between adjectives and the adverbs. So that's the lesson. Choose between adjectives and adverbs. I will just explain that. We will have some examples and then we will move on to the test. All right. All right. So, first of all, we need to note what an adjective is. An adjective is a word that describes or modifies a noun or a pronoun. Adjective often tells what kind or how many. So, like, that's the basic. It modifies a noun or pronoun and it tells us what kind or how many. Now, the apples were delicious. Now, the adjective tells us what kind of apples. So, when you say the apples were delicious, now I'm gonna say, oh, what kind of apples? You say the delicious apples. So, when you say that, it just simply tells us about what kind. Now, an adverb is a word that describes or modifies a verb, adjective, or another adverb. Adverbs often tell how, when, where, to what extent, to what degree. So that's what the adverb tells. It tells all of this in bold. So it tells us how, when, where, to what extent, or to what degree something happens. On the other hand, adjective just tells us what kind or how many. So we will just have a list of adjective and the adverbs on the charts. So I'll just write down some lists for the just some brief list of um adjective. So we have attractive, attractive, which is an adjective. We also have the common adjective beautiful. Okay. Can you hear me at the moment? Let's see. Can you hear me right now? If you can hear me, just say yes, please. All right, so let's move on with the list of adjective. We have glamorous. Mhm. We also have maybe handsome. We can say handsome, beautiful, very common adjective. And let's say lastly, elegant. We can use elegant. Okay, so these are for the um adjective, and then moving on for the adverbs. Let's have a list of some adverbs. Okay, so let's have some here. We can have rarely. Let's say first one. Rarely. Also, we could have lately. hmm Most times the adverb end with ly. Bravely. And then two more. Cheerfully. We could say cheerfully. And the last one, previously. Very common. So these are a list of like adjective. On this side we have the adjective, and then on the other side, basically the ones with like the ly, that's the adverbs. Okay. So moving on, like I've said, adjective will tell you what kind, like that, how many, and it's modifying a noun or a pronoun. And then the adverb is a word that describes or modifies a verb. So when adjective is talking to the noun or the pronoun, the adverb will talk to the verb. Okay? Grace ran really quickly. Really quickly. The adverb really tells how quickly Grace ran. So remember that adverb tells us how. So really is telling us like how fast did she run? She ran quickly, like that. Most adverb that tell how end in ly. Like I've written down some examples here for the adverb. Most of them, the adverbs that tell you how, they end with ly. So most times if you see the ly, you know that that's an adverb. Just like quickly there, quickly is an adverb. It ends with ly. For example, I can say, how did she drive the car? She drove the car quickly. So it's just telling us like how. You can always use ly to tell whether a word is an adjective or an adverb, though. So you have to take note. Even if you see the adverb always with ly, you cannot always determine because of that or say, oh, this is an adverb because you see the ly. You have to make sure that you're certain and then the sentence is modifying a verb. All right. So I do hope that you take note of that. She arrived soon. Also, we have some adverbs like soon. We have never. Some of these adverbs do not have ly. So you have to be the one to identify them. You have always, you have soon, never. Also, most of this adverb in also they do not have like adverb. So you have to be the one to tell in the sentence. So she arrived soon. Soon is an adverb that doesn't end in ly. Fred has a friendly dog. Friendly is an adjective that ends in ly. So in this situation, friendly is an adjective. So you see, like sometimes you could have like friendly in an adjective pattern. So it just depends on your sentence. All right. Also, we have the word handmade is an adjective, so it must be described or modified by an adverb. Entirely is an adverb. Entire is an adjective. So that's the difference. So the adverb entirely is the best word to complete the sentence. So that's for the sentence up above here. Susie's gorgeous beaded gown was handmade by her niece. So this is the example, the explanation we have. The word handmade is an adjective, so it must describe or modify an adverb. So entirely is the best word to complete the subject. Okay? So you have to make sure that you look at the best word that completes. Don't just say, "Oh, this one is ly, is adverb," and that's the answer. You have to be very careful. Remember that adverb modifies a verb, an adjective, a noun or pronoun. Tommy knows that finding a job after graduation can be difficult, but he is dash about his chances. So his words: hopeful. The adjective hopeful is the best word to complete the sentence. If it's hopefully with ly's adverb, but hopeful is an adjective. So Tommy knows that finding a job after graduation can be difficult, but he is hopeful about his chances. Okay, so he's hopeful regardless. Janet thought for a moment and then responded. Dash to Mrs. Wilson's question. So she responded intelligently to Mrs. Wilson's question. So you have to compare, is it intelligent in this sentence to complete it or intelligently? So you have to make sure that the sentence is complete, the sentence is correct. Do not just pick because you say, oh, this is adverb, this is adjective. All right. So we'll move on to your test now. Okay. So please try to send in your answers on the chat. Let's make it interactive, okay? If you know the answer, please send it on the chat, okay? Choose the word that best describes or modifies the verb in bold. The young lawyer dash misplaced a highly important legal document, but he found it just in time for the trial. Mhm. So what's the answer here? Is it accidentally or accidental? Which is the best? Is it accidentally or accidental? You have to make sure that you figure out the right one that is suitable. Okay? So which of the above is suitable? So accidentally. So the young lawyer accidentally. So that's the adverb. It's very, very suitable for the sentence. Now we have the dash soldier faced difficult challenges during his service in the military. hmm So is it courageously or courageous? So is it the courageous soldier or the courageously? So now if you say the courageously soldier, not correct. So it's talking about the noun. So the question asks modifies the noun. So it says now. So you have to choose the right noun to complete it. And this one also says modifies the noun. So after 10-mile hike, Paul had painful cramps in his leg muscles or painfully cramps. So it's modifying the noun. So you have to make sure that when you're choosing, it has to be the noun. Yeah, thank you for your answer on the chart. So it is painful cramps. Okay. So this one, my mother can make a dash cheesecake, but I prefer the double chocolate brownies. It's modifying the noun in the sentence. So, what would be the right answer? Well or good? I'm looking forward to your answers on the chart. Is it well or good? What's the right answer? Let's wait a little bit and see if you all will send your answers. So, what will be our answer? Is it well? So let's say a good cheesecake. So good, perfect. I got your answer. Thank you. Okay. Mitchell's gorgeous beaded gown was dash handmade by her niece. So this is talking about the adjective modifies the adjective. So was it entirely handmade or was entire handmade? This was also on the charts, on the tutorials rather. So this one, Dash Mitchell and Lacey sell their handmade craft at bazaars around the country. Is it occasionally? No. If we wanted to use occasional, it's supposed to be occasionally, but then it's just occasional. So now, is that correct? No. So sometimes, okay? Entirely. Good, good. All right, good. Since you guys are texting, perfect. Send me the answer to this one. Is it occasional or sometimes? Please send your answers. Let's see. What's your answer, everyone? What is your answer? Sometimes. So we have sometimes from you guys, which is good. All right, so we have Jaina thought for a moment and then responded to Mrs. Wilson's question. So this was in the tutorials. So it will be thoughts for a moment and then responded intelligently. So Darlene Dash completed her first accounting class at Danville Community College last spring. Hmm. What's the answer here? Successful or successfully? I will wait for your answers. In this case, is it successful or successfully? Okay, what's the answer on this one? Okay, successfully. All right, so I do hope that you all understand the difference between the adjective and the adverbs. And I hope that if you're not done with this lesson yet, you can complete this lesson. Okay, so let's move on to the second lesson. Move on to this one. Is the word an adjective or an adverb? So we already know what the adverb is, we know the adjective. So now we have to be able to identify in the sentence. Okay, is it adverb or adjective? We have to determine that, right? So moving on. Okay, so we have the normal explanation that we've already gone through. Of course, remember, adjective often tells what kind or how many. All right, so what kind or how many is for the adjective, and it modifies or describes a noun or pronoun, while the adverb modifies a verb or another adverb. Adverb often tell how, when, where, to what extent, or to what degree. Okay. Grace ran really quickly. This is like the same example we had earlier. Okay. So now it says, is the word, is the italics word an adjective or an adverb? So you have to figure that out. My neighbor, who is unusually tall, is always cautious around ceiling fans. Now, is it adjective or adverb? So you come down here. The word unusually describes or modifies the adjective tall. So it is an adverb. So take note that it's not because you're seeing the ly that you just conclude that, oh, this is an adverb. No. You have to make sure that the sentence deep down is correct. Okay, let's look at some more examples. The Constitution of the United States divides the federal government into three branches so that no single branch can become too powerful. Now, what is the word in bold? Is it adjective or adverb? So let's see. The word federal describes or modifies the noun government. So it is an adjective. Okay? So we have federal. Although Mr. Johnson is 80 years old, he's still remarkably active and exercise daily. An adjective is a word that describes or modifies a noun or pronoun. So you have to figure it out. The word active in the sentence. Is it an adjective or an adverb? Okay, so the word active describes or modifies the pronoun he, so it is an adjective, All right. So that's the necessary things that we need to take note of. Very important. So let's move on to the test. So you all please send your answers. So this one was in the tutorials and it was the adjective. It was the adjective. Now, although Helen Keller faced many challenges, she was extremely courageous and became the first deaf blind person to graduate from college. What is your answer here? It has extremely already, and she is on the line. So, what would be the right answer here? Okay, the adjective. Now, these salon shampoos are extremely expensive. The generic brand is less than the half price. Adjective or adverb? Expensive. So, what does expensive stand under? Let's see if you all are chatting on the chat already. So, what's the answer? Everyone is watching me. Can you tell me the answer? Is it the adjective or the adverb? Expensive. So, we go with the what? So we clicked on the adjective and then it's wrong. So now take note that if you get anything wrong, you have to make sure that you scroll down and see the explanation. Please do not just move on forward without knowing why it's wrong. All right? Although Mr. Johnson is 80-year old, he is remarkably active. So this was what? Okay. What's gonna be the answer for this one? What would be? Okay. So you can make your choice. If you feel confused, just take notes. So just like this now, I click on the adverb, but it's not the adverb, it's the adjective. So I'm not gonna just let it go. I will just scroll down and understand better. Okay, so make sure that you take notes. If you get anything wrong, please take notes. Okay? So let's do the last question. The hole in Cody's gene is barely noticeable, but he should patch it before it grows larger. So is this adjective or adverb? It says. Okay. Okay. Now barely was already in the sentence. So you have to take note of the other sentence that was in bold. Okay? Okay. So let's do this one. Please send your answers on the chart if you are here and if you want to contribute. You can send your answer on the chat and let's see. Okay. So let me know if you have any question. Try to complete this test, but let me know if you have any questions and I will answer them for you. Any question? Okay. So please try to complete this test, okay? I'm gonna leave this as a review, so you can just pop in, ask me any question, as long as it's for, yeah, adjective. Okay. Hmm. So let's say this one. Okay. If you have any questions, please ask. Okay. Feel free to ask me any question if you have any. Okay. So I'll just leave this here. Just ask me any question if you have, okay? Okay, so if you do not have any questions, we'll finish here right now. Please try to complete the test for adjectives and adverbs if you're not done yet. Do have a good evening, everyone, and see you next time. Bye.